I'm Gab, he's Jules. Horrible grey skies over West London. Horrible grey skies over Jules' head as well. You like the Charlie Brown character?
Oh.
I am very sorry, Paris Saint-Germain. Out, I think, personally, deservedly so, over the two legs, losing 2-0. But Jules, there was a moment in the first half when you thought, hey, we can do this.
Yeah, I thought they controlled the pace of the game well. They controlled that first half well. They played, I thought, with some sort of maturity, some cohesion collectively. They occupied the pitch really well, different zones, everybody. It could have been better because I think there was maybe a potential, considering Bayern was so obsessed with Kylian Mbappe. And
it looked like it was a whole, Kylian plan.
Yeah,
and
then exploit that. For example, if you pull, already you know that Upamecano and Stanisic would be alone on Mbappe, which means that De Ligt would be in that zone. If you put Hakimi and Vitinha a bit higher up, there was way to find even more spaces. They didn't do it as much as I would have liked them to do. But
instead, they put somebody very quick and dynamic like Lionel Messi in the...
Yeah, which again, no, but you're right. But I think there was potential in that first half to be really, really on top. And then they didn't take the chances. The one from Messi that Nuno Mendes crosses, I think he can even take a shot. The big one is obviously the Vitinha one. I still don't understand now why he rushes it so much, and then the shot is so soft that De Ligt has the time to come and clear it off the line. And then when you don't take your chances in a game like this, you know that at halftime Nagelsmann is going to tweak something, make an adjustment tactically for his team to be better in the second half, which is what all very good coaches do. And not so good coaches like Christophe Galtier don't do anything.
I think there's a resilience to this Bayern team. And Nagelsmann's courageous, making some big calls. Obviously, Stanisic ahead of Joao Cancelo. We're going to get into that later. That's still a call. When you think Mane not 100%, he doesn't go with the reputation. He leaves him on the bench. They're coming off, I thought, a really poor performance at the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Instead, it comes together. They're not rattled, and they see it out. Even when Sommer went walkabout, I thought, okay, is he going to, are they going to miss Neuer? Is this a situation where Sommer may be at this level, the mentality? No, he comes back, he makes that save off of Sergio Ramos. I don't like this whole metaphysical stuff because I don't fully understand it, but it's a thing, right?
Yeah, they Coman said it when I saw him after the game. He said, we're used to this. This is what we do, in a way, which is true. This the big clubs, PSG don't have that mentality right now. They might never have it. I think it's something that...
It's weird because they have the big players, right?
Yeah,
but they don't necessarily have that... They have players who probably have it as individuals. As a team, as a collective, it's not there.
Exactly.
Who knows? Maybe it is a thing, even though it's metaphysical. I got to ask, this raises a million questions about Paris Saint-Germain. And I think in some ways, it's kind of stupid because the million questions would be there regardless. Even if they win the Champions League, the million questions would be there. So questions aren't true, but hey, it's tradition. They've been eliminated. They've been knocked out again. Yeah. The only trophy they can win this year is Ligue 1. So the questions are up there. Questions about Messi, questions about Mbappe, questions about Nasser, questions about the ownership, questions about Galtier, although other than his immediate family, probably fewer people care about that. Where to begin, Jules?
I don't know. I think it's a bit early now because it's so recent and raw in a way. They're not going to make any decision quickly on Galtier's future. For example, although I don't think he's good enough for this level anyway. And I think right now you need an overhaul of that squad. You need to start building something like Ten Hag is doing at United or even Arteta at Arsenal. And he's not the right guy for that. So you need the right person, the right manager to implement all of that.
So this is really interesting, and I know I shouldn't jump in, but I think what you're suggesting, you're talking about Ten Hag, Arteta. You're not talking a manager who manages big egos, big stars. We're not talking about our friend Carletto here.
No,
to deal in broad stereotypes. Or Zidane.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody ground up, multi-year project.
You've tried the. They try to quick success route in a way by going bling bling. Let's get the biggest names.
Laurent Blanc, Ancelotti, those are man managers.
But
perceived to
with
be.
Players, Beckham, Ibra, Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, anything you want. That hasn't worked. I think maybe it's the time to switch a little bit the way you do this project. to go maybe with thinking about the team more than individual. And for that, I think you need someone who will build that squad, build that style of play.
It's a great point. There's an argument to be made that you have built the Paris Saint-Germain brand to now it's one of the biggest in the world. Now focus on just getting it to be great on the pitch.
Yeah.
Mark Ogden suggested, for example, I'm sure he didn't come up with the idea on his own. Others in France might have said, hey, France produce all these great players. What if we, Paris Saint-Germain, what if we just hoover them up when they're young and go that route?
It's not as easy to do than to say. But yeah.
All right, Jules, I want to pick up some of the questions about Paris Saint-Germain's future. But first I want to make a point about the game, which people often have. We were both on the FC show last night, and Alain Moreno made a point about, it's difficult to play Bayern when you have two people who just walk around the pitch and occasionally they trot. Now, one of them is Lionel Messi. This is an old thing. This is how he plays. This is how he's played really for the last 7-8 years of his life. Some of it is he has an enormous football brain, so he knows how to maximize that. Some of it, he's 35, he makes the right decision, wants to be fresh. I don't expect Lionel Messi. I expect the team to do the running for Lionel Messi. And that's what they did with Argentina, for example. McAllister, Alvarez, all these guys, Enzo running themselves into the ground. Yeah. That works, right? You want a World Cup, you want a bunch of Ballon d'Ors at home. I'm not going to fault Messi for doing that. That you knew this is how he plays the game, and he's very effective playing the game. He's had a really good season this year, even for Paris Saint-Germain, right? Yeah. I mean, he had a stinker last night, but he's been good, right? We're not going to have an argument over that.
More than enough. Yeah.
However, I'm sorry as your boy, when Kylian Mbappe does that, and it's not just with Paris Saint-Germain. We saw it at the World Cup with France, right? He becomes a player of moments off the ball. He becomes a player where he doesn't track back. He doesn't do that side of the game. And again, ostensibly you do it to remain fresh because when he gets the ball, he's devastating, and he was devastating in those moments in the World Cup final, right? But on a club team, France don't have Lionel Messi playing for them, right?
No, yeah.
You can have one guy like that, and we can even question whether at this age that he's at, he should be like that. Because, you know what, I invite people to go back, watch even Cristiano at that age, right? Early Cristiano at Manchester United, even his first couple seasons at Real Madrid. This is a player who still tracked back, I'm not suggesting he was Heung-min Son, but, he did track. So I'm just wondering, does he not see the side of the game? Does he not see that? What's going on there?
I mean, he played centrally yesterday on Wednesday night. There's not much tracking back to do. You track back when you play wide and your fullback is going forward, for example.
No, when you play centrally, you go and you sit on Joshua Kimmich to try to disrupt them, and you go and you still press when you're playing centrally.
It's not really a team press. But you're right. Your point stands because he doesn't want to do it. It's as simple as that. We talked a lot about it during the World Cup because he was very clear and Deschamps was very honest about it, saying he doesn't want to defend, so we have to find a way of excluding him from the sort of defensive task that a team has to do. But you're right, maybe it's not enough. And maybe even with the ball, he didn't do enough yesterday. I think there's a point where you could be the best player in the world, and I think he is now, or he's in the top 3, let's say, with, Rashford and Osimhen if you want, or Kvaratskhelia or whatever, where you can't do it all on your own anyway. So I would have loved Kylian to have an amazing game yesterday. I joked with some people at the club before that, if he scored 2 or 3, then I would have him, in the flash interviews post-match, that kind of stuff. And maybe he didn't do enough. Maybe he didn't do enough in the whole game to get himself available, to find the space. It was hard because Upamecano defended really well. Stanisic helped him well. Delirte sometimes. All of that, he didn't get much service either. I get it. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he should do more effort overall.
I mean, I'm thinking of 2 great center forwards. One of them a Ballon d'Or winner. The other one probably should have won one. Karim Benzema and Robert Lewandowski, who, in terms of work rate and energy, certainly when they were his age, obviously now they're older, they did all that. Yeah. And he still scored tons of goals, and Benzema won the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, but and they still have tons of quality.
Gab, you need to look at the team around them. And I do wonder if Mbappe is in that Bayern team, instead of Lewandowski, with the manager like Pep, for example, I would think that he would have done the work and the running that Lewandowski did.
And that is a perfect segue to my next point. The manager. Because we've seen Pep go and get, because look, the old trope in football is you're the skill guy, you don't necessarily go and have the physical energy side of the game because you want to be fresh when you get the ball, all this stuff, right? These guys, Pep takes over a team and they all start running like maniacs, right? That was the whole thing. Even with Barcelona, early Pep, right? They ran more than anybody else. Yeah. Even though they had 70% possession, they're still outrunning the opposition. I'm like, where's all this running coming from? And the ball, and they're moving the ball so well. They shouldn't be running, but they are, right? And that's what made them so good. And that was a football for that time and whatever. So the question is, do you need a manager who can unlock that side of Mbappe, who can explain to him, this will make you an even better player on a much better team?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. But I think I think he knows it, and I think the problem is the lack of collective cohesion of that team anyway. So he could have pressed more yesterday or counter-pressed more, but behind him, he wouldn't have followed anyway. He would have done it and I think sometimes he doesn't do it because he knows that it would be crazy or stupid for him to do it, because behind him, the unit, the block would not follow anyway. Because I think there's a lack of work behind it. I think Galtier, again, has limitations. And, this is not... And again, I would love to see Kylian in a Pep team or in a Klopp team and see what happens and see how he does. It would maybe never happen, but he might have a manager one day. And I think Tuchel got a bit of that at the time with him. So I don't know, but yesterday I think he wanted it to be his big day and he wasn't, and he was in the end he was disappointing. One
of the big issues here is obviously in terms of potential Galtier succession, and you've talked about that, but more broadly, there's this perception of Paris Saint-Germain, and here I'm going to be Mr. Contrarian, that part of it, it's a zoo, it's show business, there's different people, too much change. I was trying to think, obviously Leonardo was there for a few years, but then you've had 3 directors of football in the last 4 years, something like that? The continuous changing of the managers, players, showbiz, social media. All that may be true to some degree, but that can't be an alibi for lack of success, because the team they're playing against, every time we have Jan on, right, and he talks about Bayern, he's like, oh yeah, FC Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. You've got this guy talking, that guy talking, this guy, Gnabry goes to the Fashion Week, Neuer and his weird friend who gets sacked and whatever. There's controversy, there's unrest, there's distractions, there's some level of chaos at a club like Bayern. To some degree, there always is I shouldn't say always, there often is at big clubs, right? Because you've got superstars and whatever, media interest. So I don't think that's one of the things that makes Paris Saint-Germain weaker, but it's not the be-all and end-all the way some people make it out to be.
I agree with you. No, I don't think. I think it's maybe more controlled, or it's dealt with better at a club like Bayern because it's part of their DNA and they're used to it in a way. So they know.
It's so much part of their DNA that often the people who are causing it are the director of football and the chairman, and Uli Hoeneß talking from his sausage factory.
But I think I look at more like, okay, you could be FC Hollywood as long as you work as a team and you play as a team, which is what Bayern still do more than not. PSG, it's not the case, and I think the blame is on the manager, is on the sporting director for building these squads not in the right way maybe, or structuring the squad in a different way. Mbappe said it yesterday after the game. He rarely stops in mix zones, and when he does, it's because he has something to say, and that's why he stopped in front of us. But he said, I looked at the Bayern squad. This is a great squad, a great team, and they have a squad to win the Champions League. And we don't. Basically, that's what he meant. And he said, for us, this is our maximum. This is where we are, basically.
Okay.
And he's right.
You said that last night on the show. I thought that's a great quote. You can read it in different ways. You can read it as a hint about his future, and there's
Yeah, of course.
I've encountered 2 different people in the last couple of weeks who say, "Oh, he's definitely going to Real Madrid." I don't believe in definitely Mbappe anything after what happened last time.
Yeah.
I think he's going to decide later. And I'm not even 100% sure on what terms Real Madrid would take him, because I think there's a lot of Real Madrid fans who really feel genuinely let down by Mbappe. I think there's a lot of bad blood there. But I think you make a good point, though, because if I were to be man on the street, I would say, yeah, okay. So you've got by far the highest wage bill in football. You know why they have a better squad? Because they don't have people making the kind of money that you, Messi, and Neymar make. They don't have 3 guys swallowing up more than 50% of the wage bill.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it, right? You want to win. Hey, what if you take 10 million less a year? You'll still be a very wealthy man. And I'm not having a go at Mbappe.
No,
right? This applies to Messi,
yeah.
and it applies to Neymar as well. And then maybe we sign another center back. Obviously, they had a whole bunch of center backs out last night. I'm not saying that that's the excuse, but, once you lose Marquinhos as well, I'm like, who are those guys? I recognize Sergio Ramos, but it got a bit dicey after that. So that, I think, is also fair. How do you allocate those resources? And that's on the director of football, and it's on Nasser.
Yeah, of course, because when you finish a game like this with 2 17-year-olds from your own academy, which is great, and the Paris boys too, so it's fantastic. But you should not be finishing a game like this when you're chasing the game.
Not when you have the highest wage bill
as well
in world football.
As good as they are and as talented as they are and might become great players, but Bichabu and Zaire Emery are not. This is not what you need in a game like this. So I think this is, again, the limits of that squad, the way it was built, maybe where the money was spent, as you said, on wages, on going to get Carlos Soler, for example, even Vitinha, Ruiz. You could look at all those signings from the summer. I don't know. It looks like they will switch this summer for more French, younger, Parisian as well, if possible, like a Kone, like the Thuram brothers, like Colomwani, those kind of guys, and mix it up with experience. But really, are you going to renew Lionel Messi's contract when you see him play last night? I think even he last night probably realized, listen, this level is I think at times too hard for him. Or not too hard, but in the sense that you saw that moment where he's 5 yards ahead of Goretzka on the counter-attack. He sprints like crazy, and Goretzka catches him up on the halfway line.
Goretzka has longer legs.
Maybe, but this is the reality. Yeah. It's not a dig at Messi, the GOAT. It's nothing to do with his willingness to do well and the motivation. It's not that. It's just that he's getting older and he's not as effective, and his game has evolved. But right now, for this level, I don't know. I think so maybe you should not extend him. You should not extend Sergio Ramos at 36 either, and get Skriniar, who's already signed, plus another centre-back in that kind of age bracket between around 26, 28 maybe.
All right, well, that is a question for the sporting director, Luis Campos, who, as we know, wears many hats because he's got his own business. He's really a consultant.
Yeah.
Again, can you say dysfunction? How does one of the biggest clubs in the world, and at this stage Paris Saint-Germain belongs there, how are they not able to hire somebody who works exclusively for them?
I mean, he says that he works just for them. It's just some other people from his company work at Celta Vigo, for example, because that's the other club where he's heavily involved. I mean, his company is heavily involved in. But no, it's a fair point.
It's not a good look. It's a stick to beat him over the head with, because everybody's just going to get scrutinized twice over. I think that's another argument to make. With Messi, again, I haven't had a million people telling me, he's definitely going to Inter Miami. I don't know that if you're Messi, I don't see why you would commit to Inter Miami now, why you would take your decision now. But he's got a lot to think about.
Yeah, of his own level, of where this team is going. But for PSG as well, can he win you the Champions? This is the point. Ligue 1, it doesn't matter. The French Cup doesn't matter. Who in this team can win you the Champions League? Can Messi play in a strong collective unit and win you the Champions League. I'm not too convinced.
If you have 10 guys who run for him and work for him, and you have the right players around them and the right coach, you can. In the same way Argentina can win the World Cup.
Yeah, but you're not going to sign 10 players and sell 10 this summer. If you do 4 and 4, maybe but would that be enough? And that means Messi another year older, by the way, because you need him to win those games next year in February, March. Not in September. So I don't know. Is Neymar the guy to win you the Champions League at 31 with a dodgy ankle? Well, it's more than dodgy.
Neymar, you're stuck with because he has a contract.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to try to sell him again this summer, but who would take him now?
I think with Neymar, you're talking about, unless he goes to the Gulf and teams up with Cristiano or something, I think maybe they'll be working on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he would want to do that. Well, why? Neymar's got enough money. Neymar strikes me as somebody who's actually not super motivated by money.
No, maybe not.
Relative to others. Some people, as we know, there's some professional athletes, right? They're competitors, and your salary is a way of keeping score. I don't know Neymar, but I know people have been around him and people have worked with him. And obviously there's questions, his dad and whatever. But him personally, I don't think that's the main driving force for him.
No.
So maybe if he found a project that would work for him, and he'd be happy, maybe he would take a pay cut.
But what's for sure is that at the level I saw in the first leg and in the second leg against Bayern, and again, this is not an outstanding Bayern team. There are better teams than Bayern right now in this competition still left. Them three, Neymar, Mbappe and Messi, cannot play well together. It's not possible, and help the team. The team will be unbalanced. The team will have more flaws than actually qualities with that front three. So you keep two if you want, but I don't think the three will make you win the Champions League next season. I really believe that.
On the side, we talked about distractions. We've talked about these big players. We haven't even mentioned, but because I want to get to Bayern too.
Yeah, of course, we should.
You've got the man running the club who is being investigated for torture and kidnapping, and you have the right back, who I think is one of the top 3 in the world, Achraf Hakimi, who's being investigated for sexual assault.
Yeah.
These are things that don't help.
No, that's for sure. They don't help. You also have, obviously, the Manchester United sale and Qatar's involvement, and it's different than QSI, but maybe not so different. It's still Qatar. All of that, which I don't think help either. Yeah.
And we have the lease of the Parc des Princes, right? Which we've told you about. That it's pretty bad.
Oh man!
All right, let's talk about. Final point on this. I called it the Ogden Plan before. I'm sure that's what most people in France call it. This idea that you touched upon. Hey, what if we go and we pick up people like Tchouaméni before they go to Real Madrid? What if we pick up Upamecano? What if we pick up, before he goes to Leipzig?
Yeah.
What if we do things like that?
But then you need to allow the time to grow. When Tchouaméni leaves Bordeaux to go to Monaco, he leaves in January. Those first 6 months, he's dreadful. And in Paris, he would have been slaughtered by the media, maybe by the fans as well. That environment would have become... At Monaco, people say, leave him the time. We know he's got talent.
Because there's nobody in the stands at Monaco.
And in Monaco, if he hadn't worked out for him, it would not have mattered. They would have sold him for maybe around the price. They would have bought him, maybe to a club. Yeah, somewhere in Germany. No, and this is it. In PSG, maybe they felt at some point that you could not do that. Now I think they're coming to the idea that maybe that's what they should be doing. A bit like what Bayern are doing in Germany,
hoovering up the best domestic talent who are already familiar with the league. Culturally, it's a better fit.
But is that enough to win the Champions League, Gab, as well? Is it like a team full of Parisians? Great, I'm all for it. Can that win you the Champions League as well? You also need experience. You maybe need people who've done it before, played there before. So it's finding the right balance and the right mix, I think, which won't be easy. But certainly, I think there's an overall to be done in this squad.
Would the French national team, plus, say, Donnarumma, Verratti, and Neymar win the Champions League? I'd like those chances. If Conte was fit.
No, me too. Me too.
No, and I think there's also a thing with the branding as well, why they had to go down that route with Messi and Neymar. For example, N'Golo Kante, fantastic player. If in 2014, I think it was, right? If 9 years ago they had signed N'Golo Kanté, and Kanté had the same career, would Kanté he'd probably bring you much more on the pitch, but would he bring you the same level of fame and sponsors and attention? No, he wouldn't.
No,
because he'd be just a guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And same with Fabinho the summer before he went to Liverpool. Like, I've got a long list of the signing that they could have made or should have made that would have made a difference on the pitch, but certainly not off the pitch in terms of marketing-wise what they wanted to do with that club. So it was just the path that they chose.
In terms of Bayern, I want to give a shout-out to Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting. Because because it was treated as a joke when he signed for Paris Saint-Germain, and he scored the most important goal in the history of the club.
Yeah.
And now he's at Bayern, and he's backing up Lewandowski. Remember all those people in the summer, those people who are obsessed with, a proper 30-goal-a-season striker, blah, blah, blah. Like, Lewandowski leaves, and they bring in Mane. Some people say, Mane has to play center forward. They try it a couple times. Mane gets injured, goes away. They're top of the league. They're in the last 8. This guy's scoring goals. Is it because if you're that good, a team, a collective, you create so many chances, you can have a good rather than great center forward? Is it that simple? Or maybe is he actually better than people thought he was?
I think both. I think you're both right. I think he's better than people think, but there are better strikers than him. And I think Bayern should get... what we said, we had a discussion, remember, when he extended his contract and we had a quick
Exactly.
But I also think that, and I saw him yesterday, and he scored a goal. It's a tap-in that you and I would have scored, of course.
But he's there.
I know, but we would have been there. Trust me. The way they were pressing, that we would have been there. But for the rest of the game, it's not enough. I mean, Danilo marked him really well. Sergio Ramos, who's 55 years old, marked. So I think they would be better with a better striker. But for now, he does a decent job. He does a good job. But I still think they would be better with a better striker. And there are better strikers, or there would be better strikers available in the summer. Would they want to go and splash a lot of money? Because whoever that would be will cost you a lot of money. Otherwise, don't go and keep him. It's fine. I don't know if they will, but I still think that they should do better than him.
A word on João Cancelo, because, again, we talked about distraction, stuff like that, controversy. You know, I'm a huge João Cancelo fan. I consider fullback an attacking position. I am aware of his defensive limitations. It's pretty extraordinary that he would be dropped in a game like this. And he didn't start at the weekend either. There have been suggestions that, they're not happy with his defensive work ethic. You've seen this guy for, 6-7 years? We've been saying that. He played in Italy where we slammed him for his defensive work ethic, but we're like, it's okay because he's so good on the ball, right? Is this a bit of a screw-up? You bring him in and you say, we can't get this to work, send him back to... I mean, is this where this is heading?
If you play tactically like they did yesterday, with a back 3, there is a bit of a back 4, but more of a back 3, and you need your right centre back to be almost as good as a centre back than a right back. So Pavard, Stanisic, there's no room for Cancelo because you can't play.
So it was a matchup thing in this game. It was simply I don't want Cancelo against Mbappe because that's not.
Exactly. So
that's all it is.
And Stanisic has done well for them, and he played well with Croatia against France in June against Mbappe. So that made sense. I'm very skeptical about how much João Cancelo is going to play. He's going to play in some games, of course, in the Bundesliga, games that they're going to easily win. I wouldn't be surprised if especially if they have a top draw in the quarterfinals, if it was exactly the same team as we saw against PSG last night in the second leg, and there's no room for Cancelo in it.
Other than people whose names start with a J on Bayern Munich, is there anybody more technically gifted than João Cancelo on this Bayern team? Start with a J, I'll help you out. I put Kimmich and Musiala as more technically gifted. And I guess Sadio Mane too.
Yeah.
But is that it? Sane on a good day?
Sane on a good day? Yeah, Gnabry. No, but I don't think the talent is the problem here. It's
just not a fit for this game.
Exactly. For this formation.
Right.
You move to a back 4, you play slightly differently, I think there's room for him.
So I think we can say it's not his Bayern Munich career isn't over. There is a way back in. And
but Nagelsmann is pretty stubborn.
But if this is the case, though, Nagelsmann, who's a very intelligent guy, I think you need to make this clear. You need to make it clear to him, make it clear in public. You drop for this game because of the matchup with Mbappe, because we're defending a lead, blah, 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 whatever else, right?
Which you would think
but if we play a different team in the next round, I may have you back out there because you're really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simple as. I like my Joe Cancelo.
I know you do. I know you do.
Final point on Bayern. How many teams, we put them in the top tier. I don't know if they're favorites, but of the teams left in the competition, and obviously we put them in the top tier with Real Madrid and City, right? Are those three clearly above everybody else?
I think so, but they should be playing better. And Real Madrid or Liverpool, I think whoever...
You say whoever advances? I mean, okay.
No, I know, but, But I watched them again last night, and I'm thinking, okay, they win. They don't have to play great because, as we've been saying, this was enough to beat this PSG team. But they should be playing much better. They've got more time. And Mane coming back will help, I'm sure. Then what do you do with Musiala? Where do you play Musiala? Because Mane would come in on the left-hand side where Musiala has been playing. So you drop Müller?
You know my answer. You drop Choupo-Moting. I mean, I know I praised them before, but in most games you can play Mane at center forward.
He would have to make choices.
Yeah.
But I still think they should be playing better than what we saw.
Oh, there's no question. They're not fighting.
And they can.
None of these teams aren't. They're not. Real Madrid aren't.
Yeah.
City are in a bit of an upswing, but they've had the up and down. So no love, still disrespect for Benfica and Napoli.
No, you said.
Napolitani, go after them.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.